Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sash. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, hotties of the world, and welcome back to another wonderful, beautiful little episode of Smoke Sesh. My name is Hannah, your host, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys on this sleepy, rainy, very fall morning. Oh my gosh. I feel like for the past couple months, I've been like, okay, 80 degrees, the leaves aren't changing, what's happening? And then all of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, all of the leaves on the fucking floor, no time for them to even change color. It's just raining and cloudy. And honestly, back in the day, this kind of weather change, being such like a summer baby, summer child, this would have caused me to go into a full-blown panic attack spiral. Oh my god, the world's ending, there's no sunshine, I'm losing my mind. But recently I have learned to accept like the slower parts of life and indulge and enjoy the calmer, more quiet parts of life. And this is the first time, I think I mentioned this before, but this is the first time I've really kind of welcomed this season, and I'm very excited to be in my fall energy, in my winter energy, get into the seasonal things and really just try and enjoy it the best I can. I hope you all had a very safe and joyful Halloween weeks. Basically, when Halloween falls on a day that's in the middle of the week, it's so weird because I feel like you're forced to party for at least 12 days before, like the weekend before, the entire week of Halloween, and then the weekend after. That is just too fucking much for me. You guys who went out and did that, you survived. Props to you. Halloween next year will be on a Friday, so you won't have to deal with all that bullshit. You'll be able to party 3 days in a row and then just like get it out of your system and move on. It'll be great. I'm very much so looking more forward to that Halloween. This Halloween, I was kind of like, sure, I can go party, whatever, but I wasn't in the mood to get out and like black out, lose my mind, throw ass on the dance floor. Usually that's how I'm feeling on Halloween. This Halloween, I was like, you know what? We have plans. Our friends invited us to like this local bar. We're like, okay, maybe we'll dress up. Maybe we'll go out. We started getting dressed up. We had like a little wheel of brie cheese and baguette, like enjoying our little Halloween night. The clock strikes like 9 o'clock where we're supposed to be there. And me and my boyfriend look at each other and we're like, what if we just don't go? what if we stay right here? What if we don't go out? And so we just split a bottle of champagne between the two of us, devoured a Chipotle burrito, had some freak nasty sex, and then watched like 8 Halloween movies in a row. And honestly, I could not ask for a better Halloween. That is exactly how I needed to celebrate my time. I didn't need to go out and like lose any more brain cells that I already am like grasping onto. Like, my god, Hannah, no more brain damage. You don't need that. But it was a good time. I hope you guys had an enjoyable time. I also felt like this Halloween the veil was a little too thin, and I felt a little anxious because of that, and I really didn't want to like be out and about due to that. I think a few of you guys had some experiences where it was a little spooky, scary, and Halloween is supposed to, unfortunately, like bring that out. So hopefully there's a lesson you can learn from it. Hopefully there's something you can take from it, and hopefully you are safe and okay. But I love you all. Happy Halloween. It's time to take down the decorations now. I'm like, shit, I've had them up for 3 weeks. What do I do with them? Knowing me, I'm going to leave them up until Thanksgiving and then we'll change them out. Whatever. I had a good week though. Pretty chill. Nothing much really going on other than Halloween. And then I finished deep cleaning my house. Oh my god, it's taken me actually a month. To do. But I started top to bottom. Like, I had 8 bags of donation things I had to go drop off. My vacuum broke because I was vacuuming too hard. So I had to buy like an industrial vacuum. That came came in a couple days ago, so I finally finished vacuuming everything, dusting everything, feeling good. And then I got a surprise text. My little baby cousin was like, hey girl, I'm passing through Kansas City with my boyfriend, like, are you available? I was like, oh my god, what a fun fucking surprise. She's such a sweetheart. I'm so happy to see her doing so well. She brings so much joy to my heart. She reminds me of like a younger me, so it's so good when I can run into her and just talk to her and see how she's doing. It's also nice. I feel like I have half my family that's like, you know, I'm putting on a facade a little bit, like I'm kind of having to fake who I am because they are extreme Catholics, and it's kind of like a very performative in the way that I have to behave, where it's like, ha ha ha, glass of wine in hand, wearing a turtleneck, you know, like let's not talk about smoking weed. But with her and with my other side of my family, it's like they come over, they just want to chit chat and talk real shit with me and smoke some weed, and it's really nice. So I got to see her and her boyfriend. They were doing fantastic. She works in the national parks, so if you listen to my Yellowstone girls trip episode, she's the one that I ran into there. And the season's over, so she was passing through town heading to New York before they fly to Thailand for 2 months. Girl, living the dream. So it was amazing. I got to take her to like my favorite lunch spot. We showed her around the city. It was so cute, and my lunch spot treats me so well. If you're looking for the best food in Kansas City, it's called Hibachi House. I have to put them on every single time. They're like a Mediterranean restaurant in the River Market. They are so fucking sweet. I've been going there for like 10 plus years, and the front desk lady, she's so kind. I was like, yeah, you know, every time friends are in town, we gotta bring them here. This is our favorite restaurant. And she was like giving us free bread, free lentil soup. Like, I know you love it. I want them to try it. So fucking sweet. So if you're gonna support one restaurant in Kansas City, let it be them. Hibachi House in the River Market. They have my heart. I eat there at least like once or twice a week, always. And then had a little family dinner with them, my parents. My foster brother was there, so that was really cool to get to see him. And then yeah, I had a chill little Sunday. Woke up today ready to go. You guys have a lot on your fucking minds. A lot on your minds. Oh my god, have you guys been seeing the New York City Marathon runners? That is all what my TikTok feed is like the New York City Marathon. I don't know why those videos make me want to cry, just seeing people like go all out, put their body through so much physical strain, but also like see the whole city show up and show out for these people and just like have a good fucking time. It really is establishing some hope and some joy in my heart that does contain a lot of anxiety right now, considering election day is coming up. Election day is also my boyfriend's birthday. Happy Scorpio season. I love my Scorpios. From a Gemini, I never thought I would like Scorpios considering how they are, you know what I mean? But Scorpio women, they're some of the fiercest, most loyal, most protective, like siren-y, amazing women that you could ever find. Like mystical, so deep and like dark, but kind of in a manner that is like comforting, the same way like a warm fireplace would be comforting in like the darkness. I love Scorpio women. Scorpio men, I'm dating one, so like I get it. You guys are a little crazy, but it's coming from a good place. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people think Scorpios are controlling, but I do genuinely believe they just know what they fucking want, and they believe that that's what they deserve, period, point blank. But I really love their loyalty, and I love how freaky they get. So shout out to my Scorpios. Really indulge in that Scorpio energy this season. So we'll be celebrating his birthday coming up. That's very exciting. But that's really all I have planned. I hope you enjoyed the confessionals episode. That was really fun. I didn't realize I would get backlash over a nun costume. Backlash, it wasn't like that much. It was like a few comments, people being like, my religion is not your costume. Girl, you mean my religion? What are we talking about here? It's pretty funny to see. But I didn't think that would happen, so that was a little silly. But you guys seem to really enjoy it. I love the confessionals episodes. I love to just get silly and a little unserious on this podcast, especially when things can seem like a little bit too much or life's getting a little crazy. I love that we can, you know, have a place where we can enjoy our time and get crazy and tell fun stories and just get a little wild. Sometimes a healthy distraction is really necessary, especially when life gets just a little bit too much, too overwhelming. And especially with the fall energy here, I think a lot of you guys are going through that. Speaking of, I was going through the questions this morning. A few of you guys have been like, you've been repeating questions too much. I hear you. It's just because after I see like 2 or 3 people ask the same question, I'm like, okay, like, let's talk about it, whatever. But I hear you. I do want to bring up the fact that it is breakup season. At least 40 people or more, maybe 50, sent in questions being like, I just got broken up with. I'm going to break up with my boyfriend. My boyfriend broke up with me. How do I leave? Questions like, just broke up with my boyfriend. I knew it needed to happen, but I feel like shit. Help. I broke up with my boyfriend of 3 years after going through his phone. He was a lustful piece of shit. How to break up with sweet, amazing boyfriend I don't have feelings for anymore. Happy Scorpio season. Scorpio season is traditionally breakup season because it does plant some new ideas and new seeds in our mind where we do start focusing on the loyalty aspect. Like, is this a partner I can trust? Is this a partner that is providing for me whatever you need, whatever you are looking for? It could be money, it could be just love, it could be attention, it could be whatever it is. But I think a lot of people right now are realizing the less time they're outside, the more time they're inside with the people they thought they loved, that maybe they aren't the people that they thought they were in their head. And that's okay. It's okay. Better to break up now and enjoy the holidays without somebody being annoying and rude and mean to you. Better to break up now and just get it over with than waste your time and your energy on something that just simply isn't providing for you. So if you are in this season and you're finding yourself in a place that's like, wait a minute, who is this person? Who are they? Do I want to be with them? Am I really in love with them? Listen to those feelings, okay? And if you get broken up with, don't take it too personally. It is what it is. You cannot force love to be something that it's not. And if this person cannot love you fully, at least they were able to recognize and understand that you deserve better and they are not that person for you. They are not going to be that person for you. They cannot show up as that person for you. And it fucking hurts. I get it. It sucks. It hurts. I kind of love a breakup because you're allowed to be just a crazy bitch for a second. So let that inner crazy bitch out. Scream, cry, roll around on the floor, get crazy drunk, eat a tub of ice cream, devour a pizza to yourself, hug your friends, go out, party, whatever it is you need to do to heal. Do so. I have done some crazy shit in a breakup, things that I probably shouldn't even speak about, but it was things that I needed to do to heal my soul, to purge that energy from my life, to find forgiveness in myself. And there is method to the madness. So whatever you're called to do during this time, trust that intuition, lean into it, and listen, if you gotta break up with them, you gotta break up with them. Better to not waste your time or their time and make the right decision for yourself than stay on a path that is truly just not meant for you. Also, if you get broken up with, it's okay. It's okay to go crazy. Let it out. You will heal. You will feel better. But the more you try and push it down, the more it's going to try and claw its way out of you. So free the demons, let them loose, let that person free if they are not the person for you. Breakups are a part of life, and the more you try and avoid them, the more you're like avoiding a part of yourself. I've learned more about myself through breakups than anything else, than the relationship ever taught me. So I don't think there's something you should fear too much. Pain is an unavoidable part of life, and the more you realize there's something to learn in the pain than just suffering, the easier time you'll have. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into all your questions and let's see what's on your minds. Now, this is a post-Halloween question. Considering quitting drinking forever. Thoughts? Honestly, great idea. The more I get older and the more I consume alcohol, the more my body hates it. My body has this funny thing of naturally weaning me off. items that are just not good for me. This happens specifically, I remember, with nicotine and cigarettes and vaping. A lot of you guys are like, how'd you quit vaping? How'd you quit vaping? My body forced me to stop because every time I would take a hit of nicotine, I would get violently ill, dry heaving on the floor, very bad and not good. And I never felt that way before, but it was almost like the same way like an overdose would cause your system to kind of like freak out. I feel like I was doing that on nicotine and my body could not fucking handle it anymore. And I have realized alcohol is slowly making me feel the same way. Like a casual cocktail at the end of the night, it can either go very well and I'm chilling, or it's like I feel awful. I all of a sudden have a headache. My body feels heavy. I'm going to be like moving slower tomorrow. I'm not going to be feeling good. And this is a reason why I do, smoke more weed than I drink. I feel like the effects of weed and smoking, it's not going to be as bad for me physically, this is my own personal experience, than drinking is. Drinking can be very, very fun, but of course the side effects are just make you feel so down bad that it's like you're reevaluating your entire life. You're reevaluating your behaviors from the past night. You're like, do I remember doing these things? Do I not remember doing these things? You're having anxiety, your head hurts, you're dehydrated. It's like, oh my God, is it worth it for like 3 cocktails? And I remember doing dry January last year, and the benefits of it were so fucking good. I can't believe I didn't just do dry the rest of the year. But doing dry January really showed me how I was consuming alcohol, why I felt the need to consume alcohol, addressing in those moments like why I was feeling that way. And then after dry January, I had worked those behaviors and those mindsets of, why am I doing this? Why am I feeling the need to? Is it in a social aspect? Is it in a I don't want to be awkward, so I want to drink aspect? Is it I want to drink because I'm angry and I don't want to feel this emotion kind of way? It was a mix of all of those things depending on the moment. But once I came out of dry January, I did not drink as much as I did before. Because when I started dry January, I was probably drinking every day. Yeah, I was probably drinking every day. I mean, I work in a restaurant. Everybody around me is getting drunk. Everybody's on Coke. That's a conversation for another time. Ugh. But everybody was drinking, so like I didn't want to be the odd one out. Of course I'm gonna have a cocktail, and I really needed dry January to show me like why I'm behaving this way, why I'm relying on it so much. And when I came out of it, I do not drink as much as I used to. I maybe have a cocktail once a week at the most. Occasionally like a couple glasses of wine. Sometimes I'll have a glass of wine like when I'm cooking dinner. But I have found that the effects of alcohol are just not something that I really enjoy. Weed, on the other hand, I have a healthy relationship with weed. I'm not using it like I am when I'm drinking. I'm not trying to hide emotions or forget about things. I'm doing it as a way to like settle and calm down and just enjoy the evening, and that's totally fine. But if you feel these things arising with substances, whatever the substances are, I know weed works good for me, but if you're smoking and you're like, I'm not getting the same benefits as I used to, I'm not feeling the same way, it's okay to take time off. It's okay to like take a step away. You should not be a slave to substances in your life. That is a major red flag, and that's something I had to learn in myself. Just because everybody else is doing it, oh, well, everybody else drinks, that does not mean it's okay. How you feel about yourself is all that really matters. What works for you works for you. And if you feel like your relationship to a specific substance is not behaving in a way that is beneficial to you, it's okay to take a step away so you can have a clear mind, a clear understanding of maybe why you feel the need to indulge in these things. But yeah, I have noticed the same way that I was with nicotine, I'm that way with alcohol. Like if I have a drink, all of a sudden I just feel like horrible, awful, no good, very bad. So shout out to my body for like physically forcing me to stop doing these things. I do really appreciate it. I don't know if this is something that happens with other people's bodies, but I do think listening to your body, listening to your brain, listening to that kind of anxiety that you maybe get from certain things is important. It's telling you something. What can you listen to and what can you learn? How to get used to working for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is something that everybody in their mid 20s or like even early 20s kind of goes through, especially when you haven't worked a lot in your life. I've been working since I was like 14. I mean, honestly, probably younger. I think I started babysitting on the weekends when I was like 12 or 13. Should that have been happening? Probably not, but it was the early 2000s, you know. Parents didn't really fucking care, if I'm being honest. And it's like, sure, I'll hang out with your 8-year-old, we'll eat pizza and then watch a movie. Easy. Can do. But I have been working for a long fucking time. So I had this kind of crisis early on, especially in high school, where it would be like, oh, my friends are going out and doing these things right after school, but I have to go clock in and work until like 8 p.m. You know, like I cannot do these things until the weekend. And I feel like I really had that crisis early on, so I don't have to deal with it much now, but I am noticing my friends being like, oh my God, I hate working. I'm going to be in this cycle forever. This sucks. I hate capitalism. And like, you know what? I will say valid. I get it. We're all going to have those moments where like, fuck this job. This sucks. Why am I here? Why am I having to clock in? Why did we work out society to be this way? I also went through a phase of unemployment in my life, and I've noticed my friends who go through the phase of unemployment start actually appreciating their jobs once they don't have one. Once they don't have one and they don't have money and they don't have routine and they don't have coworkers and they don't have people to talk to and they don't have like a set plan, that's when the real panicking starts kicking in. And that's when you start seeing and appreciating jobs. I feel like the whole, you know, job crisis, oh my God, I don't want to work for the rest of my life, is kind of a young mindset. And if you're a young person feeling this way, it's okay. It's a part of the process. It's a part of, you know, your brain trying to comprehend and understand these things and change into a new routine. It's okay to be like, this sucks, but give it time. You will find that it's like, you know what, I do enjoy the routine. I also love having money. So like maybe work isn't so bad, especially once you take time off for a long time. You're like, oh shit, maybe I do really want to get back into this routine. Maybe I do kind of miss work. And I do think having a job that you do kind of enjoy helps. Like, sure, serving isn't what I want to do for the rest of my fucking life, but taking a week off and going back, it's nice. You know, I get to get back into routine. I get to see my old coworkers, my old regulars. I get to, you know, enjoy the things that I did previously. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of like a young person mental crisis that you do have. Everybody does go through it, but you do realize how much of a privilege it is the older you get to have a good job, make good money, and how much those benefits really, really do matter. I feel like until you get those adult jobs with those benefits, you don't realize how nice it truly is. But yeah, give it time. You'll get there. You'll realize, okay, maybe having a job isn't so fucking bad, especially when you have one you like. Like if you fucking hate your job, valid. You don't have to be there. You don't. Like, you can find a new job that is going to give you a new, you know, sense of purpose, a new sense of life. And that's why I do really encourage young people who are going into college to take that time to try out different things, to figure out what they do like, to figure out what they don't like. So when you do finally enter the job field or whatever, you do kind of have like an idea or a pinpoint of what direction you want to go. Working in a job that is at least somewhat in your interest will help with that mental crisis that you might be facing. Someone said, maybe this is a question for my therapist. It is, but how do I stop letting my triggers control me? Ooh, should we talk triggers? Should we talk triggers on this podcast? So when I first entered the psych ward, I feel like my mental health was I had unfucking checked. Okay, it was the Wild West in my fucking brain. I had no clue what was going on. I felt like I was on the back of a horse and the horse was just sprinting as fast as it fucking could through a field, and I was like barely holding on. It was crazy. It's crazy how quickly your brain can spiral out of control, especially when you have no idea what's happening. That's truly what's scary. And I wish someone would have just told me like, yeah, you're mentally ill, babe. You know, like I wish someone would have been like, oh yeah, we do have history of mental illness in this family, because as soon as I was told that, everything made fucking sense. I was like, oh, that's what I'm going through. That's what it is. So when I was first admitted to the psych ward, one of the main things we did in our work was figuring out our triggers. And I had no idea what a fucking trigger was. I was like, what do you mean triggers? They're like, no, things that make you start spiraling, things that make you kind of feel more depressed, maybe feel more anxious. And being aware of those things is so powerful, especially if you have a hard time grasping and working with your mental illness. When it comes to mental illness, this is a lifelong thing for me. It is. She's not just going to go away. I mean, she might for like a second, but best believe she'll be back. It's something I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. So I better look at it not like a curse, but as a friend, and figure out how our relationship works. That is the best way to go about it. And with any sort of relationship, you're going to have things that maybe make the relationship spiral a little bit, and that's what triggers are. So for me personally, my depression is very much triggered when I am out of routine, when my routine is switched up and I don't know what's happening next. My depression is triggered when I feel like I am unwanted or unneeded or undesirable, wherever that's coming from. My depression is triggered. In the past, it was like a seasonal thing, I will say. I have a pretty good hold on it now that I do feel the effects rising in the winter, but I can kind of offset them a little bit. But in the past, it definitely was like seasonal changes, working through winter. That was a big trigger for me. For my anxiety, it was like everything. I don't know. But understanding those things really helps the relationship kind of work its way out and almost strengthens it in a sense where it's like, I see you, I understand you, and I now have a plan of action and a course of action to work through these things. So if you have these triggers and you feel like, they are in control of you, you're not in control of them, it's because you're not addressing them. You don't have a course of action of what to do after these things. So you have these triggers and you're like, well, I'm aware of them, but they still keep affecting me. They still keep having a hold of me and taking over my life. It's because you're giving it power. If you have these triggers and you know what it's causing in your life, you don't have to be surprised of the outcome. You already know what the outcome is going to be. Now you need a course of action of how to heal this side of you, to heal this action before it gets out of control, before it gets out of hand. So say my trigger is my switch in routine. Okay, I know that today, like, my day is going to be out of whack, out of routine. It's something I'm aware of. I know it's a trigger. I know it's going to cause me to spiral if I don't take action against it. So I'm going to implement maybe a self-care item or a self-care action in order to offset and rebalance the scales of my brain. Maybe I'm going to include something that I do usually do in my daily routine, whether it's a morning routine and a night routine, or adding in like a fun little lunch routine to make my day feel more normal. And that's why I encourage you to like figure out a good morning and night routine, to have hobbies, to have things that you do in your everyday life that bring you enjoyment. So when these triggers kind of take over, you have something to use to act against it, to kind of reverse it and shift the scales so that they're even again. Triggers need to be addressed, but also there needs to be a course of action of what to do to offset it. So yes, you did the first step, you figured out what triggers you. Now we got to do the second step. We got to figure out how to reverse these effects, how to show ourselves some love, and to rebalance our brain scales a little bit. I hope that helps. Therapist Hannah clocking in bright and early today. Keep getting played by the same man. What do I do? Also love the pod. Love you. Are you a basketball? Sorry, that was kind of mean, but like, what do you mean keep getting played? Are you a basketball? If a man thinks that you are a game to be played with the same way he plays with his dick and his Xbox controller, you need to get as far as you possibly can away from him. Run as fast as your feet can fucking carry you, because mind games aren't anything to play with. And men can be super fucking evil in the sense of they do not care if you live or die, and they will do whatever they fucking want. And taking precaution and not engaging in the game and simply leaving them where they are and realizing you're a crazy fucking psychopath who thinks that my life and my emotions are just something you can mess around with, dropping them where they are, cutting off all contact, leaving them in the past, that is the best way you can handle that situation. That's how you truly level up in your brain. A, you're showing yourself like, you know what, I don't fucking deserve this. I'm going to stand up for myself. B, you're not engaging in the game and playing in the mind game. You're not stooping to their level. That's a waste of time. Like, I used to definitely do that, but I realized how much it would really drain me. And for what? An ego boost? Who fucking cares? I need to focus on myself and healing myself in this moment. And C, there's nothing more bad bitch than just being like, you've lost access to me. You played around and I don't play games. So guess what? All of a sudden, I'm taking the key back, I'm closing the fucking door, and I'm leaving you at the doorstep. Goodbye. The trash will be picking you up on Tuesday. I love that. I love it. That's that grown woman energy, and that's that energy you really need to hold. I used to be a big, I'm going to engage in the games. You know what? He fucked me over, so I'm going to do him worse. And it's like, sure, you can if you're young and you're petty and you have that energy to spare. But the older I get, the more I realized how much it really drove me to their level and how much it really took out of me. Even though I thought I was, oh, well, I'm going to do them dirty. I'm going to do them worse. I'm going to, level up and be a bad bitch. And I'm going to whatever the fuck. It really was draining me so fucking much to try and put myself in their brain space when I didn't want to even engage in it in the first place. So yeah, leave him at the trash where he deserves to be and move on with your life. My girlfriend seemingly does everything right during sex, but I still don't get off. What to do? Oh, women and sex. Oh, to be a man with a penis and have sex. Like, I wish, my God. I wish I didn't have to have like the brain and the romance aspect of it all, because me personally as a woman, I don't want to generalize all women. I know everybody's different, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I get it. But personally, from me and the women of my life, and what I've noticed is that like sex, we do not give a fuck about like the P and V aspect of it. Like love to get railed, absolutely. But what truly matters to us and what gets us like the wettest and the horniest and the most ready to go is like the romance, the adornment, the appreciation, the foreplay of it all. Okay. And if we don't have time for the foreplay, if that man just starts like, or woman, whoever, if they just like grab your face and start making out with you and trying to shove fingers in you, it's like, oh my God, whoa. I'm just like, I'm not in the headspace. I'm not in the mood. Like we got to work our way up to it. So I feel like if you think your partner is doing everything right, but you just cannot get there, it's because you're not working yourself up to the brain space to be able to have that orgasm. It takes work to like get to that dissociative level of like being able to let yourself fully relax and fully experience this pleasure. And if you feel like you're having a hard time getting there, not to be like practice dissociating, but I do think you should practice feeling everything. Okay, focus on the feeling, focus on the pleasure, focus on that versus the outside perspective, the outside idea, the other person, what they're doing, the details of it all. Forget all that bullshit. Forget the sheets you're laying on, forget where you are, and focus on the pleasure. This is why I like high sex so much. I love having sex high. I feel like having sex high really taught me to indulge in what true sex really is, which is all pleasure, because I'm the kind of person who watched too much porn when they were younger, so I thought sex was a performance, which like, hey, it can be sometimes, but it definitely isn't all the time. Like, I'm not here to perform for you. Listen, obviously not. Like, this is a 2-partner game. You better perform for me as well. I'm not here to perform for you. I was always seeing myself from this outside perspective of like trying to behave in a certain way and like position my body in certain ways where I look sexy, and it was just like too much pressure. Like, Jesus Christ, I was not focused on pleasure at all. I was focused on like the performance of it all, and that put me in a place where I was unable to focus on like the pleasure of myself. It put like a fence in between the two. And having high sex, starting to have sex while like where it made me more focused on the pleasure aspect, more focused on the senses. I felt like when I was high, I wasn't able to go to that third person place, that out of body place. I was more centered in my body, in my sense of self. I also wasn't overthinking myself. I was really thinking about the experience in front of me. It really changed how I focused on things and really changed how I viewed pleasure. But like before that, yeah, there was definitely a time where a man like ate me out for an hour and I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna get there. And like, sorry, but I was not focused on the pleasure there. I was way focused on like what he was doing, how I needed to behave. You got to get into that orgasm mindset. You got to get into the mindset of, is this feeling good? How can I make this feel better? And how can I lean into the pleasure? Because that's all sex is about. If you aren't getting pleasure while you're having sex, girl, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm not here to shame you, that's for sure. But practice makes perfect. You know, taking yourself out of that mindset and putting yourself in your body, centering yourself in your body. That's how you orgasm. If it already starts bad, is always going to be like that in a relationship? Yes, please get out of there. Listen, if you are not head over heels in love, like on the best behavior, like being so kind and nice to each other in the at least the first month of being around each other, then no, that person is not for you. I don't think you should be fighting within the first 3 months. That's crazy. That is crazy. It is. Because you have to think about like courtship as like a respect thing. And if they're losing respect for you in those first 3 months, imagine what they're going to do to you 2 years in. Oop. I had a partner like this where I was like, well, you know, it's just a hot and cold game. No, girl, he just doesn't fucking like you. And you're not going to make him like you. So you might as well get the fuck out of there and choose peace. How do I attract the respect I deserve? I'm tired of getting screwed over. Illy. So I don't think you attract respect. I think you demand respect. And if you put yourself in the mindset of like, well, they were put into my life, they were attracted to me, so this must be the right way I deserve to be treated. Honey, you will, unfortunately, as a good person, you will attract some horrible, awful people. Horrible, awful people love good people. They do. They love to just latch onto them like a fucking vampire and suck the goodness out of you. So, just because they're attracted to you does not mean they are deserving of your time. You must demand respect. You must demand what you are desiring. You must demand your boundaries be held and reciprocated. You must demand what you deserve. And if that person standing in front of you cannot respect your demands, then they're just not the person for you. I love my boyfriend because he's quiet and he listens. A good man will sit down, shut up, hear what the fuck you're saying, and respect what you're saying, okay? No matter how crazy the shit coming out of my mouth is, he will at the very least sit down, listen to me, hear me out, say, you know what? Valid. I love you. Hopefully we can work through this. And that's why he's a good man. How do I get out of this slump I'm in? Slacking in classes, sleeping in, being late for work. It sounds like you're a little detached and a little depressed, and that's okay. We all get that way sometimes, especially with like the weather change and maybe if you have seasonal depression. Falling into these patterns are going to happen, but you can't look at it as like a setback. You just got to look at it as like a phase in life. If you look at the rock in the road as a block in the path and you turn around, girl, you are going the wrong direction. It's just a rock in the road. You just got to keep pushing forward, maybe move the rock out of the way and keep your feet going one in front of the other. Having a setback, feeling like you're in a slump, feeling like maybe you're becoming a little more depressed, it's okay. It's a part of life. It doesn't mean you need to throw your arms up in the air and give up. It just means you maybe need a little bit more TLC in a certain aspect of life. When I find myself getting to this point, and I did last week, so let me go over how I kind of healed this part of myself. I was like sleeping in. I didn't really want to be awake. I didn't want to help myself. I didn't want to do laundry. Of course, I don't want to go to fucking work. Who wants to go to fucking work? I just want to sit and scroll on my phone and not think and dissociate. When I get there, I have to pause and realize, okay, I am in a negative headspace. I'm falling into a pattern that is not a healthy pattern for me. What is one area I can start to feel good about myself in? For me personally, it was like, okay, I haven't showered for 3 days. Let's clean this negative energy off me. Let's at the very least, the very, very least today, get up, get in the shower, and rinse myself off, scrub off this negative energy, clean my hair, show myself some love that way. It's the very least I can do today. Starting with one thing in that moment, especially when you're in a slump, to show yourself self-love, it will immediately redirect how you're thinking about things. I love self-love, okay? I love showing myself love. I love knowing that I'm a queen and I deserve that love, no matter if it's from my partner, especially from myself. I am deserving of that love no matter what state I'm in. You do not have to earn love. You do not have to, earn respect. Simply being alive, you are given that love, you are given that respect, and you need to show yourself that. So I feel like when I find myself falling in these slumps, it's because I'm disconnected to myself. I'm not showing myself that respect. I'm not showing myself that self-love. So immediately the first thing I do to redirect that brain process and show myself like there is good is to show myself a little bit of self-love in whatever aspect is good for you. Maybe it's a really good healthy meal. Maybe it's a home cooked meal from yourself. Maybe it's a hot shower. Maybe it's, throwing those clothes that are on the floor at least in the laundry hamper or something small like that. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes a small amount of initiative and showing up for yourself to kind of redirect that slump. Now let's get into the serious aspects of it all. When you feel like you don't want to fucking do anything, it's probably because there's too much to do and you're overwhelmed and your brain doesn't know what to go after first. It's just too much. I'm just going to ignore it all. That was definitely a problem with my ADHD, where it was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. There's just too much in front of me. I don't know what to do. I can't even think about one thing because which one's more important? What should I do? I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to be sad because I'm ignoring it. No. That's not how we go about things as an adult. So first thing I'll do, especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed, is I'll brain dump. Get out a piece of paper, get out a pen, write down every single fucking thing you need to do. It's probably going to make you feel overwhelmed because there's a lot. But as soon as you get that out of your brain and onto a piece of paper, the noise in your head will immediately slow down, calm down. You will feel better immediately. Getting it out of your brain onto a piece of paper where you can physically see it and then categorize and organize, maybe by day, by time that you have off, by importance, whatever it is. That's how you start organizing things. That's how you start, putting one foot in front of the other, moving the rock out of the path and pushing forward. But I do think in a slump, there's those two steps. The first one, showing yourself love and that you are deserving of kindness and appreciation no matter what state you're in. Physically and chemically altering that brain behavior from a negative perspective to a positive perspective, and then getting rid of the noise that's going on in your brain. The reason that you're sleeping so much or you don't want to go to work or that you're ignoring these problems is because they're too fucking loud and you don't want to indulge in the loudness because you're afraid it's going to get louder. You have to get it out of your head. You have to quiet your mind. And I think the best thing for me personally, especially when I have like too much on my plate or too much going on, is just writing it all down, brain dumping, physically brain dumping, and then organizing based on like what's most important, what can I do right now, what can I do tomorrow, so then you're not overwhelmed trying to do it all at once. You'll figure it out, I promise. It's okay to find yourself in a slump, Healing is it's a roller coaster ride. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. And the more you just strap your seatbelt in tighter and throw your hands up in the fucking air and ride the ride, the easier it's going to be, okay? But if you take those lows as permanent and, oh, well, I worked so hard to get to this high, all of a sudden, I'm in this low, all my work is not paying off, girl, you are going to dig yourself into a deeper fucking hole. Understand it's a part of life. Show yourself forgiveness, show yourself love, and quiet your mind. You will get through it. Ooh, nesting tips and how to bring more coziness and luxury to my life this season. I love a scented candle. Ooh, Ooh, bitch, I love a scented candle. Specifically right now, Target has these really cute little pumpkin spice ones and they smell delicious. I've been into sweeter scents, especially in my home. I have these candelabras. I light like 10 fucking candles at night. It's so gorgeous. It's so cozy, comfy, fantastic. I love keeping my place clean. I feel like I immediately feel cozy if my house is clean. Scents are very important. Lighting is very important. I have my LEDs that I can change to like my fake sunlight in the winter to help with the seasonal depressive stuff. Basically, if you have seasonal depression and you need like actual sunlight, you know those like happy lights that they sell for 80 fucking dollars? They're just trying to profit off your mental health. The lights do work, but they're literally just an LED light. You can go buy an LED light for $10 on Amazon, okay? So I have my LED lights everywhere that I can change to like fake sunlight to bring in a little bit more energy to myself, to signify to myself, you know, the morning, and then maybe elongate the evening so it's not dark at 6 p.m. because, oh my God, daylight savings is killing me. Art. I love art. I love having art in my home. I love having pictures in my home. I love my little trinkets and my knickknacks. I think it really makes my home my space, you know? It makes me feel more comfy and cozy. I can't wait to be like rich and famous one day and like invest in artists. That's like one really big thing that I want to do in my life and in my future home is just like really find some amazing artists and invest in some incredible pieces. Comfy blankets are a big thing. A good house robe and a pair of house slippers is a game changer. And also, one underrated tip for keeping your home comfy and cozy is don't bring in negative people. Don't allow people into your house that you feel like are just weird and uncomfortable and not nice. That's how you keep the energy good in your home. Don't bring in people that are not worth it. My friend does a lot of coke, and I think she has a problem. What do I do? Oh, lovey-dovey. I am a huge Coke hater. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. Listen, I unfortunately am a drug connoisseur. I have tried almost everything. Yes, almost everything. Sometimes not on purpose, sometimes accidentally, but I have tried everything. And I think cocaine is the worst thing to ever exist on this fucking planet. A, not worth it. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good at all. Wears off in 10 minutes. Now you got to spend $25 on another fucking bag. Now you're fiending and itching your face and scratching and being really fucking rude because you don't have your next hit. I work with a bunch of coke heads and they drive me fucking insane. It really makes me hate that drug because it's like, I know you're good people, but if you don't have this substance, you're not a good person, and that's super fucked up. Do not, if anybody ever offers you coke, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't even say yes. Be like, I'm good. Literally, I have only ever felt awful on it. I have only ever felt like a bitch on it and not good. It just basically wires you. Bitch, you can drink a double vodka Red Bull and feel the same exact way that cocaine is going to make you feel. So I do think having these conversations with people, especially when you're starting to get worried about them in whatever aspect, whether it's drug use, bad people in their life, going down a bad path, whatever. I think being a good friend is holding people accountable, and you should be able to hold that person accountable or at least have a conversation with them of like, hey, I've been noticing these things. I don't think you should go at it in a way where it's like, I'm not accepting of you, but more so like, I want you to be the best person that you can possibly be, and I don't think this is helping you be that. Ultimately, everybody's going to make their own decisions. They're all going to become their own people, but the best friend that you can possibly be is the one that is honest with their friends and a little bit more straightforward than you would like. And yeah, I think you can call people out on that. I had a friend that I had to call out on that and be like, girl, you are falling down a very slippery, dark path. And first of all, this shit isn't even worth it. So I don't know why you're doing it all the time. Like, let's talk about you. Why do you feel like you need to do it all the time? Why do you feel like, you know, you have to indulge in these things that are just not good for you? And she ended up, you know, stop using it. But that kind of came from her own fruition through her own experiences. But I do think having that conversation did help. But a PSA to all the girlies out there. I know the whole 90s trend is coming back and being like super skinny and smoking cigarettes and doing cocaine is like very in right now. But cocaine is not something you want to fuck around with at all. I have seen people turn to zombies from it, and it is just not worth it. Like, literally, there's so many other better things that you can do. Like, in my opinion, like, weed is better than cocaine. Why are you spending $70 on a bag that's going to last you 30 minutes? Hello. What is your opinion on eating ass? Love. Listen, I'm a freak at heart. I'm dating a Scorpio, duh. I'm a freak at heart. But yeah, eating ass, super fun. I think you should definitely get into it. I think you should get into it post shower if you're going to get into it anywhere. Definitely like not after a night of partying and running around. Definitely post shower is when you should be doing that. But yeah, I'm a fan of eating ass and getting my ass eaten. I think it's fun. Listen, the closer we are, the more intimate it is. How do you feel about taking breaks from a relationship? I don't think breaks are real. I think you should just break up, because if you take a break, unless you set very extreme rules on what's going to happen and like a date that you're getting back together, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. You guys want to be apart. Do you guys want to go and explore your individuality? And I don't think you can fully explore that individuality unless you are completely unattached and single. And that is an okay thing to do. I don't think you have to keep that attachment to that person. You either date and you figure it out, or you break up and you take time apart and you maybe come back together later. But I don't think you're going to learn enough about your individuality that you're truly trying to learn in that break to then come back together and have a healthy relationship. Like, just break up. Just break up. It's okay. It is okay. If you want to explore, like, it's okay if you love somebody, but you know that you need to be on a different path. That is fine, but you cannot fully commit to that other path unless you take it alone. Okay, you cannot drag someone behind you who is also trying to go into a different direction. You know what I mean? So no, I don't believe in breaks in relationships. I've seen people get hurt too much in breaks in relationships where it's like, well, we were taking a break, so yeah, I fucked 5 other people. How do you get back together after that? What the fuck? Just be single and then go live your best single life. And if you're able to get back together at a different time and somehow find paths crossing again, then that's beautiful and that's wonderful. But go live your best individual life. Go find who you are as an individual. Someone said, I hate myself. How do I change that? Ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting because I don't think you hate yourself. I know that's crazy. That is a crazy thing to say, especially when you're like, no, bitch, I look in the mirror and I don't like anything that's happening. I don't think you hate yourself. I don't. When I was in moments where I found myself like, you know, crying, sobbing, looking in the bathroom mirror and like not wanting to look at what is in front of me, it wasn't because of my reflection. It wasn't because of my reflection. It wasn't because of, you know, what was going on in my head. It was because I needed change. I needed to change something, and I didn't like who I was in that moment. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you hate yourself and you don't want to be yourself. It means you are desiring change and growth, and there's something that is missing from your life that you need to incorporate. Like, I never hated myself. Maybe I just needed to cut my hair. I never hated myself. Maybe I just hated my friends and how they made me feel. I never hated myself. Maybe I just needed to move my body more and find acceptance in that and work out. I didn't hate myself. I just hated the classes I was in and really desired a new class, or I hated the job I was at and was desiring a new job. I don't genuinely believe that you hate yourself. I think that you need something new in your life, and you need to start viewing yourself from a new perspective. And I know that sounds counterproductive, but I think like radical acceptance, but also like unattachment will help you with this. Radical acceptance in the fact of, we're here. We are who we are. We're born the way we are, and it is what it is. We do always have a choice to change, to break up with that guy, to move states, to change courses, to change your path, to leave those friends behind, to change your outfit, to cut your hair, to dye your hair, you know, to pluck your eyebrows, whatever it is. You always have an option to change. Radical acceptance in the fact that we are here, but we do always have choice. But also like detachment in the sense of attachment is the root of all suffering. And if you attach who you are to something too much, it will kind of cause you to spiral in a sense. So allowing yourself to ebb and flow between these emotions and between these feelings and these thoughts freely will give you the space to look at yourself and say, yeah, you know what? I don't like who I am right now, but fuck it. We can go out there, we can change, we can do whatever the fuck we want. We can adjust how we feel in this moment. I don't think you hate yourself. I saw this quote that I think will actually really help you in this perspective. Maybe you don't hate yourself. Maybe you hate how you feel with the people you spend time with. Maybe you hate the routines you've built for yourself. Maybe you hate the way you neglect your wants and your needs. Everything is energy. Your energetic frequency is in constant conversation with the universe. What does your energy say about you? Like, bitch, I don't think you hate yourself. Maybe your energy is just off. And that's very real. It's very real, okay? I feel like those moments where I am having that low moment, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, who is this bitch? Because I don't want to fucking be here. It's saying more about the moment that I'm in and the choices that I'm making than who I genuinely am as a person. Because I know I'm a good person. I know I'm trying my best. I know, I'm beautiful. I know all these basic things. But what is wrong with your energy? What are you feeding that's not giving back to you? What are you looking or seeking after that maybe you're not going after, that is energetically draining you because you're not in the right path, you're not following the right path, you're not following your wants or your needs? Ask yourself that. I don't think you hate yourself. I think you just need a change of heart. You need a change of pace. You need a new perspective. You need an energy shift. So ask yourself where you can show up in your life in that moment. Ask yourself, what do you need in this moment? Ask yourself, where do I want to go? You can get there. You can make those things happen. But sitting down and hating on yourself and, oh, well, I'm not good at this and I can't do this and I'm not where I want to be, that's not going to get you anywhere. Okay, it's going to dig you into a deeper hole. It's going to make you feel worse about yourself. Hate will never get you anywhere. You are never going to be able to hate yourself into a better person. So you might as well radically accept yourself and where you are and understand that we always, as human beings, have choice. You just have to choose to put one foot in front of the other and go after those wants and those needs and those energy shifts that you do truly crave. You can make that shit happen. How bad do you want it? Anyways, with that being said, we are coming to the end of our episode. I know today was a little bit shorter, but I just have a lot on my list that I need to get to. And honestly, with the 50 different I'm breaking up with my boyfriend questions, there was not a lot of spicy ones out there. So listen, if you have never submitted a question before, please do. I want to hear from you. Get crazy, get wild, get into those deep, dark corners of your brain. Let's talk about it. There's nothing off limits here. There's nothing too taboo. Literally me saying I love to eat ass. Like, it is what it is. I'll talk about it all. So next week, we're going to get a little bit crazy. We're going to get into some more questions. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful little Tuesday afternoon, evening, maybe Wednesday. Who knows when you're listening to this? A lot of new people have been listening to this, and I'm so lucky and amazed to have you here. I'm always interested, and it's so interesting to see, people that join this podcast, join this community, and just how welcoming and understanding they are. So I'm so glad we have been able to create this community together of just like loving radical acceptance of each other. I think through funny stories and honesty, you can always get there. But I love you all so much. If you want to see more from me, I answer every single person's question on the Patreon episode every Thursday, patreon.com/smokeseshshawty. For my Patreon girlies, I will be uploading a tarot reading for the month today too. So stay tuned for that. But if you want your question submitted, I do that on Instagram every week, instagram.com/HannahMarlene. That is where I post just everything. That's my main Instagram. And I post the questionnaire every Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, stay sane, stay sexy, stay loving, stay hot, stay amazing, and I will see you all next week. Mwah!